Hey, I'm back with my next video. Find out what I'm running from and find out what I've learned to accept about myself that has brought me so much more peace. This is my daily routine. I just dropped the kids off at swim camp and I am on my way back to my condo where I have to park in a garage. Now, just the act of parking in this garage gives me extreme anxiety. See, for me, there's a bad guy everywhere out to get me. And this parking garage just makes me feel even more so like there's a creep in every corner. So we're gonna head on in there. You just probably heard that noise. That's me locking my doors. Gotta make sure my doors are locked at all times. Now logically, I know none of this makes sense. I could think through it mentally in my mind and realize how, even statistically, how probably safe I am. I'm in Oakville, a suburb of Toronto, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but everything inside my body just doesn't resonate with what my mind tells me. So right now I can feel my heart beating. All right, let's go for it. And you'll see how close the door is and you'll probably think how silly I am. All right, ready, set, go. Up the stairs. And I can take a bath. Because there's nobody around though. Just make sure I'm always checking. And now I'm gonna take you on what I refer to as my house check. So this is whenever I'm sleeping home alone. Well, I'm not alone, I have my baby girls in the house, but whenever I'm the only adult in the house, I can't go to sleep and I can't relax unless I do what I call a house check. So that's checking every closet, underneath the beds. Anyways, you'll see, and you'll see to the extent that it needs to go. But the crazy thing is, I actually will not. It becomes almost neurotic for me. Because I cannot sleep, and then if I'm lying in bed and I think, did I check under there? If there's one little area that I forgot to check, and I can't remember, then I'll get out of bed and go downstairs or wherever it is and check. So it's just it's this constant fear, and just I don't know what it's like to be home and just I love being alone. I'm an introvert, so I like that downtime to myself, but I like somebody else in the house. So I'm perfectly happy to spend time alone, up in my room, watching a show or reading a book or something. But it's when I'm the only person home or when I'm the only adult home. It's worse when I'm home alone. When I have the kids, I'm almost more in vicious mom mode. I feel more don't mess with me or I'll, I'm almost in attack mode, in an angry attack mode. But see, this is that constant living in fear. Logically, I'm I'm probably very, very safe. But just, I'm sure this has got to be related to the abuse and my boundaries and places that were supposed to be safe for me weren't safe for me. I'm assuming this is connected because I just don't think that this is how it's supposed to be at 35 years old when you live in a safe neighborhood and your doors are all locked, that you need to, well, you'll see, go on what we call a house check. You're gonna see my messy house. That's okay. Okay, so we just double lock the front door, so we come up the stairs. So we have to do this in order so that we make sure that these invisible bad guys in my mind that are out to get me don't sneak behind me when I'm not looking and scoot into a place that I already checked. Do you see how ridiculous? I know how ridiculous sounds. It almost is embarrassing, but it's actually heartbreaking for me because it's something that I live with. Like, I feel compelled to have to do this. The reason I'm taking you along for the house check is just trying to let you in a little and see the long-term effects that that survivors of child sex abuse go through. For me, it's my daily, everyday, normal life. I've learned to just live with it. But like I said, I think in some of the other videos, I'm getting tired. It's exhausting.
Anxiety, check. Exhaustion, check. I learned at a very early age that nowhere was safe, that I would be sought out, that there was someone always lurking and waiting for his opportunity to get me. And I learned that I needed to always be on guard. I was 5 when I started figuring out how to avoid my grandfather's sexual advances. 5. And here's the thing about learning such a survival behavior at such a young age. That is a learned behavior that is very, very difficult to unlearn. The fear of never wanting to feel what I had felt as a child began to rule my life. So my reasoning for creating this video was to give an insider's view into what hypervigilance actually looks like. But more importantly, I wanted to share with you how a shift in perspective changed my life, and how there is a way through this darkness. Whether you've experienced hypervigilance as a survivor or not, I hope this video resonates with you and helps you understand yourself just a little bit better. I spent the majority of my adolescence and adult life hiding my hypervigilance from everyone, including the closest people in my life, though I do kind of figure they had an idea. I would sneak around secretly trying to ensure my safety, all the while feeling ashamed and embarrassed at my compulsiveness and inability to just feel at ease. It was hard enough dealing with my hypervigilance, but making sure that I kept it from everyone, well, that was an even bigger emotionally and physically draining feat. It was utterly exhausting. But in that exhaustion came my breaking point. And my hypervigilance actually became one of my driving forces behind what I called my journey to heal. It was through my journey to heal that I signed up for and attended the Haven Retreat for women who have survived sexual abuse as children or adolescents. It was there that I was given the life-changing opportunity to attend classes on the brain science behind the behaviors of a child sexual abuse survivor. The shift in perspective from the knowledge that I gained in those classes were my way out of the shame. I was literally drowning in it, and this new understanding, it saved my life. It was only after the Haven that I was able to openly share with my family and friends the struggle that I have with hypervigilance. The relief that I feel from no longer having to hide it, it's extraordinary. Unfortunately though, even with this new understanding, for me, the fear of being sexually assaulted again, it's still there. There will always be a threat, a man around the next corner, under my bed, behind the closet door, hiding in the bushes, peering into my window from the dark night. You name it, my imagination will create it. So how do I cope with this part, with the fear? Well, it started for me by trying to restore some balance between my prefrontal cortex, my conscious, rational brain, and my limbic system, my subconscious, primitive brain. See, as a survivor, the primitive part of my brain, the limbic system, it was in overdrive. So how do you gear down and start accessing the rational part of your brain? Well, for me, it was by practicing grounding techniques and mindfulness exercises. For example, doing a 2-4-2 breathing technique, well, that helps me slow my pounding heart before I enter a parkade. or consciously doing my 5 senses exercise when I'm home alone at night, well, that helps me stay grounded to the here and now and the present moment. I've uploaded these techniques on our website at yougrowgirl.ca, and I'll post the link in the comments below if you want to go check them out for yourself. They've truly helped change my life. These techniques have made my hypervigilance behavior so much more bearable. The best way to describe it would be to imagine turning the volume down on a TV that was blaring so loud you could barely hear yourself think. You can still hear it playing in the background now, but now you can function without the sound overpowering your thoughts. So now, my goal on a day-to-day basis is to keep the volume turned down. So, what I've come to accept about myself that has brought me so much peace is I've come to terms with the fact that I may always live in a state of hypervigilance to some degree or another, and that's okay. I may never completely rid myself of the fear, but I will also never again feel ashamed of it. And that is the part of my journey that has set me free. For all of you out there who are struggling with hypervigilance, there's a few things that I want you to remember from one survivor to another. Number 1, know that you are not alone in this. Number 2, know that you are not crazy, it is not your fault, and you are just demonstrating a survival behavior that you learned and needed as a child. And last but not least, there is a light, and you may never rid yourself of hypervigilance, but you have the power to turn the volume down. I can't reiterate this enough. When you are a survivor, understanding yourself and the science behind your behaviors, it's life-changing. It takes the power away from the behavior and it puts it back in your hands. And as survivors, we could all use a little more power, don't you think? So, I encourage you to explore your own behaviors. Explore what you don't understand about yourself. Dive deeper into the things that you struggle to change. Survival behaviors can manifest in so many different ways. For me, hypervigilance was very prominent. For you, it could be something completely different. I'll continue to post new videos every week explaining more of the struggles and triumphs I've experienced as a survivor, in the hopes that they help you in some way or another relate and feel not so alone. Until next time, stay strong, trust in the process, and show yourself a little forgiveness today. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified every week when I post new videos so that you don't miss out. Yet again, I'm realizing how much this channel isn't just going to be about helping other survivors. Just the process of creating these videos is leading me to new insights and lessons on my own personal healing journey. So thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. I couldn't do this without all of you.